I guess we're talking about fire this season / night at the cyberspace karaoke bar. Are we doing an Avatar thing? I'm always blowing hot air. We talked about water and the color blue. I brought up Gaia not being my baby mama. Just what people say when a volcano goes off. Gaia! Ask Pompeii. And volcanoes bring us to fire. Good way of getting the unloved and unwanted out of society while giving them a little ego boost on the way out. No, we aren't kicking you out into a volcano because you suck. God has demanded an audience with you. You're the only one who can quell their rage. And now that the farmhands aren't all trying to get it in with the town teas, the harvest goes a lot quicker. Many hands make light work after all, as people have tried to throw in a struggling tease into a volcano. All the way up talking about what she'll do if you just let her go, but always take it off down the mountain the minute your loincloth is untied. Bitches, man. That's why we gotta liberate them. Maybe they actually will this time if my rock is shiny enough to add to her collection. Again, it's not gendered. They're backing out of what they said they would do. The chief is doing the same thing, but he puts out. I know he puts out. He puts out with my mom, and he told me about it. And the cold open isn't over yet because we're talking about fire, and I don't know where to begin. Fire could be anywhere. It's been invisible before. Lots of people believed in spontaneous combustion before they found out they were walking into invisible fire. Had to carry around alcohol-soaked rags on sticks. Spontaneous introductions, on the other hand, have no place in an episode about fire. Hey, open the flume tube. It's your toys delivered by Widow Spooky because Santa Claus is just a convenient excuse to not teach your children how to start a fire. It comes down the chimney, and that's how I blacksmith your toys. And if you give me any lip, I'm not going to start it. I mean, he's not going to come down the chimney, and you can sit in the cold with your cold and your coal, and I'll serve you some gazpacho, you curious little asshole. You know what happened to the cat? I knocked the lamp out. I mean, you watched me do this. I mean, he crawled into the fireplace like you obviously want to. Like Hansel and Gretel did. Like you want to be witch food or something. The cat actually did that, and Santa Claus came down, and now you're crying. Okay, I'll get you a fucking action figure or something to play with while I light this fire. Legend of Korra, eat your heart out. When do those fires start coming down the chimney? Around Christmas. And this is why you dumbasses need to stop asking time travelers about the future. Who's the bad guy in Nightmare Before Christmas? A man made out of pillows. Looks like a KKK member. What was I talking about last episode? Skellingtons. Tim Burton, you owe me. No one liked it. You owe Widow Spooky for likeness infringement. My Hero Academia is next. It's Christmas, bitch. What a nightmare. No one liked it. Wanted some speakers, Xbox, and t-shirts. And speaking of fire and authors who claim to want to hear a story and then write their own fantasy, I was there when Lord of the Rings was conceived. My friend Trevor was talking about how funny it would be if the sun was God's brown eye Sauron across the sky. We laughed, but it was not over yet. I mentioned how this douchebag Cameron wanted to write about the human experience, and yet that mostly involved thoughts of space lasers. Me? I wrote the words heart, hearth, earth with no spaces and thought that's pretty funny. Trevor said that would be a funny thing to have inscripted on a candle all around the candle so you don't know where it starts, you know. From our hearts to your hearth on this earth. Heart, hearth, earth. And then it just looks like thar, 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 thar around the candle. To which I said, I will go to the candle shop right now and make this thing happen, dude. I don't care if I got a skateboard. So we start talking about cents for these candles because we are cracking up. And it's about this time that the time traveler shows up to see what's so funny. Now, time travelers do this by consciousness alone, so they don't have much input and are easily ignored. Not by me. And we're talking about scents, and Trevor goes, how about my feet? And it's like musk and sandalwood. Laugh riot. J.R. Tolkien took that shit and ran, boy. And I'm glad the world has that media, sure. Base whatever on whatever. Any message can be inside out at any direction beyond repair. I do it too. Time is neither cyclical nor exactly linear. What it is flummoxing. It's like fire. There is as much of it as there is something to experience it. Time being experienced is like something experiencing fire. Even if your brain doesn't, your cells do. Your clocks do. Your TVs, microwaves, ovens, and cars. All on time. All the time. And unlike energy, but much like fire, you can make time. The more time you have, the more time to see history, science fiction, even times that didn't exist. Space doesn't have this problem. You want to see more space? Get closer to the tiny tube. The tinier your side compared to the other, the better. You can have all the space in the world from one cathode ray tube. But then you use up all your time on that, and then you gotta make more for the other stuff. And that takes time. You gotta start that time. You gotta work for some time so you can spend some time at the store to get food. And that'll buy you some time. Or at least make your last moments comfortable. Don't believe me? Ask Death Row. Some say time is money, but you are never on the time, so that's bullshit. Money isn't music. You don't need air to wobble to experience money. In fact, money is supposed to trickle down like water. Or gasoline. Petrodollar, anyone? So are we supposed to burn the rich? I don't like mine raw. Anybody selling propane or propane accessories? Watch out for brains, you don't want prions. And it's about fuel oxygen ignition that I get back to the topic at hand. Fire. Every time I pick a topic, every time it's crazy. It's like putting a tire around someone's arm so they can't lift them and setting them on fire so even if they roll around, they aren't on the ground and can't stand up. Or tying a girl to a post, setting up sticks till it looks like a broom, lighting it on fire and saying, right, Dad, if God loved you, he would send rain. It's like starting the revolution with a Molotov through a child's window. Because I give them time. Time to see the trees in the forest and how close the branches get. How far the wind carries the sparks. And how fast ideas spread. Because all it takes is one legend. One star on the map to tell people where to find me. Burning bushes. On a cloud. As if I really believe I could be the one they were waiting for. And I really did meet every expectation. Way dumber than anyone could have expected. Because I am not Jack Skellington. I am not the boogeyman. I was born April 2nd, just after midnight, after trying to hang myself out the womb for 16 hours. Oh, would you look at the time. About time I showed up, eh? Lion King of 4chan, fan of the OP era, juice of YouTube, secretly still Dallas Clock Tower, Mad Onion with Mad Ganja, Mother of Pixies, Heart of the Broken Goddess, the new flesh that hates, Black Hole at the center of the Milky Way projected upon a human consciousness, and Ghost Host with the most holes, plot or otherwise. Call me the Ubermensch because I am Uber explaining myself. And you're fired. Just link the fucking videos. You cannot explain this, Guffy. I defy you. I am the April Fool. Free Abby, Brittany, Candace and Cardi, Demi, Emma, free DeCalo, free groupies for Haley Williams, no relation, free IUDs for everyone, free Joan Somi, free Keira Knightley, free Lacey Mosley podcast. Look up Scam Goddess. Look, I'm not saying it's right with the whole volcano thing. I'm just saying that's what they were doing. I don't have a problem with teases. It's just flirting at that point for me.